is their home, that Abilene is their place, that they belong, they have a voice, they can be leaders here. We want that for everybody.
The organization now looking to address issues regarding the LGBTQ students at the middle school and high school levels. We'll have a little more on that later in our show. Now, in more local news, Abilene has lost a woman who had a heart for helping others. Recently passing away at 99 years old, Eunice Chambliss made a great impact on the lives and inmates of their families. KRBC's Jessica Rank takes a look back at the legacy she now leaves behind.
Well, it all started with one woman who had a great love for others.
Eunice was a go-getter. There was nothing that stopped her.
Yogi Christensen taking us back 21 years to the exact moment Eunice Chambliss realized she was going to make a change, meeting a woman who had missed her visit with her husband who was in prison.
The lady was crying, and Miss Eunice, she wouldn't have told you that she did it, but I'm sure she put the lady up and her children so that she could come back on Sunday to visit her husband. And that Monday she went to work to build the home.
And so became the Eunice Chambliss Hospitality House, a place where families could stay while visiting inmates.
So for them to be able to come here and not feel judged and to feel loved and to feel the Holy Spirit just envelop them, that's what Eunice's dream would have been.
A woman who made a huge impact on the Abilene community. Yogi Christensen hoping to continue that legacy.
This house honors her every time we open the doors.
Teaching her one lesson that will help Yogi and the house carry on.
To love, and love unconditionally. She was a great woman. And if I can live to be the woman that she was when she died, I will be a happy person.
In Abilene, Jessica Rank, KRBC, Abilene's local news.
Thank you, Jessica. Now, Christensen has not given any details away yet, but she says she and the board plan to honor Eunice and her work with the house in the very near future. The time now is 6:07, and coming up, though we haven't had an outbreak like last year, the flu is definitely alive and well and infecting more Americans, but it's still not too late to get immunized. We have the latest after the break. Grant?
And winds are on the increase this morning. Wind advisories in effect for some. I'll show you the warm weather the winds will bring in today coming up next.
This is KRBC, Abilene's local news, Abilene Today, with Joni McKinnon and meteorologist Grant Tosteru.
It is going to be a windy Monday out there for many of us across the big country. Some of us under a wind advisory until later this evening, as southerly winds will increase to around 20 to 30 miles per hour as we head into your Monday afternoon. Those gusts going to be even stronger than that, up to 40 miles per hour at times. Otherwise, skies are going to be mostly sunny today. That wind is going to help to bring in some very warm air for this time of year. Highs climbing into the mid and upper 60s. We'll still stay breezy overnight. Temperatures falling into the upper 40s here in Abilene. A cold front tomorrow morning is going to keep our temperatures closer to average for this time of year as we head into tomorrow afternoon. I'll show you the details on the breezy conditions coming up in about 10 minutes. Joni.
All right, thank you, Grant. We're taking a look at some of today's top stories across the country. Millions of people have already caught the flu this season, and it's not over yet. Half have gone to their doctors for care, and about 85,000 others were so sick they had to be hospitalized. Adult flu deaths are not officially counted, but 16 children have died. Experts say it is not too late to reap the benefits of a flu vaccine. The flu season is expected to last at least another month. Last year, 80,000 people died after catching the flu. And that flu causing a blood donation shortage even here in Texas. Blood donation centers across the state are experiencing a drop in donations this month, with inventories dwindling, especially in East and West Texas. Blood donation centers in Lubbock, El Paso, Tyler, and Waco blaming the flu and other illnesses, which are keeping people away who would normally donate. So as people are getting back into the routines from the holidays, most blood banks say they're in need of type O, with both O positive and O negative bloods able to be used for most emergency room needs. The Hendrick Regional Blood Center tells us they too are experiencing a shortage. Their facility serving 19 counties and 17 hospitals. If you'd like to take a moment, you can donate at either location. The Cedar Mall at 1150 North 18th from 9 to 6 on Monday through Thursday and Fridays from 8 to 4. If you're on the south side, the Hendrick Medical Plaza at 5300 Buffalo Gap Road. Their posted times are Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5 and Fridays from 8 to 4. You can also stop at the mobile blood unit if you see it around town. Today, it'll be at Lawrence Hall Chevrolet on South Danville from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The time now, it's 6:12. There's still much more to come on Abilene Today. And coming up, Grant is answering your weather questions and Ask the Meteorologist. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's time now for our weekly segment, Ask the Meteorologist, where you, the viewer, submit weather questions you have for Grant.
That's right, Joni, and I answer one question every Monday. So let's pull up today's question. This one actually came from you last week. You asked me, what's the difference between a hurricane, a typhoon, and a tropical cyclone? Well, it's kind of a trick question because all three of those are all the exact same thing, just different names for what we call typically hurricanes. So first of all, hurricanes are named for those tropical cyclones, or another name for them again, that typically form in the Atlantic Ocean. Those can form and then move anywhere up towards the Florida coastline, the eastern seaboard, into the Gulf of Mexico, or off into mainland Mexico. Hurricanes can also form often in the northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean, just to the west of the coast of Mexico. Those typically push out towards the Pacific Ocean, whether it's up towards California. However, they rarely ever make it that far north, off towards the Hawaiian Islands, or further south than that. Now, typhoons, those form off towards into the Pacific, or off into the western Pacific Ocean. Those typically form near portions of Asia, and typically continue to move their way off towards the west as well, due to what we call the Coriolis force pushing those storms in that direction. Now, this is actually where we see some of the strongest hurricanes, or typhoons rather, recorded in any history book forming in this part of the planet. Now, cyclones, another name for hurricanes or typhoons, form in the southern hemisphere off towards the South Pacific and into the Indian Ocean. These actually rotate clockwise, unlike the storms we see in the northern hemisphere that rotate counterclockwise, again due to that Coriolis force, or what we call the spinning of the earth that affects the rotation of those storms. Now, some of these move off towards Australia, others move off towards Africa out there, but again, these names all just mean the same thing. They're all three different names for hurricanes, cyclones, typhoons. It just depends on where in the world they form and where in the world they end up going as well.
Okay, so cyclones are in the southern hemisphere going
Correct.
counterclockwise.
Right.
Typhoons are
Off towards Asia.
out of the Pacific Ocean.
The western Pacific,
Okay,
yep.
and then hurricanes are what surround us here in the northern hemisphere around the United States.
That's exactly right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just pick one name, I wonder?
It's a good question. Maybe I'll answer that another day.
Okay, at least now we know they're all actually the same
That's
thing.
right.
We love to hear your questions for Grant. Ask the meteorologist. Email him at weather@krbc.tv. Now, coming up on Abilene Today, it wasn't a big pizza pie, but it did look red and full and bright. And since it's a full moon in January, it comes with an extra name. That's all coming up in Coffee Club after the break. Grant?
And wind advisories are in effect for portions of the Big Country today. I'll show you the strong winds moving in and the roller coaster of temperatures this week coming up next.
And if you're heading out the door, here's today's quote of the day. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Now, your KRBC. Now, your KRBC Storm Team forecast with meteorologist Grant Tosterow.
Well, we enjoyed a pretty mild second half to the weekend. Temperatures yesterday made it into the 60s for many of us across the big country. We're going to see even warmer weather move in today, but unfortunately that's going to come with some pretty strong winds out there. Winds are fairly light this morning. As you can see, they're not really shaking around our tower cam too much out there. Partly cloudy skies this morning with that full moon out there. 44 degrees here in Abilene right now, but those winds will be picking up as we head into this afternoon, bringing in that warmer air. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s today. Our next cold front, though, is going to be sending our temperatures back to seasonal averages for tomorrow. That colder air continues to move in for the middle of this week. Highs only making it to around 50 degrees out there by Wednesday. Thursday, we'll see a brief warm up ahead of yet another cold front on Thursday evening, and that's going to send temperatures falling towards the end of the week. But again, that cool down is not going to last for long. We'll see those temperatures starting to warm up again as we head into next weekend. Today, we're just going to be dealing with some very strong winds out of the south, around 20 to even 30 miles per hour, gusts even higher than that. Tomorrow, we'll still continue to hang on to some pretty breezy conditions out there with our next cold front. However, by the middle of the week, again, seeing those winds die down. But with that next cold front on Thursday, it's going to bring in some breezier conditions again before those winds die down. Here we go by the end of this week. Today, this is a look at some of those future winds that we could be looking at as we head into this afternoon. This morning, they're going to stay out of the south anywhere about 10 to 20 miles per hour. But as we head towards those late morning, early afternoon hours, we're going to start to see those winds increase, especially right along the I-20 corridor, anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour. Sustained winds. Could even see some wind gusts to as high as 40 miles per hour as we head later through the day. Heading into tomorrow morning, though, this is now 11 a.m. on Tuesday. You can see those breezier conditions push in from the north. That's our next cold front that's going to be pushing its way in, switching those winds to out of the northwest. So it's going to make it feel a little bit cooler out there. It could be breezy at times as well. But by the time we get into Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, those winds really start dying down again before we head into the middle of this week. So a wind advisory is in effect for Abilene and portions of I-20 and off to the north until 6 o'clock this evening due to those very strong wind conditions. So we'll be watching that as we head through the day today. Again, we could see some gusts as high as 40 miles per hour, but it will be bringing in some warmer weather as skies stay mostly sunny by this afternoon, already to around 60 degrees by lunchtime. All of us will make it into the 60s today. Even some upper 60s are possible off to the northwest. We're going to see some breezy conditions up there as well. 66 for a high here in Abilene. Windy and warm today, still staying very mild overnight as we hang on to those breezy conditions. Temperatures only falling into the upper 40s here in Abilene as we head into your Tuesday morning. That cold front moves in tomorrow morning as well, keeping temperatures a little bit cooler tomorrow, but still staying mostly sunny. Likely falling to around that freezing mark by the start to Wednesday morning as we make it only to an afternoon high around 50. Warming up on Thursday before another cold front will cool us down to wrap up this week, back into the mid and upper 50s next weekend.
All right, looking forward to some sunshine out there, but the wind today, hold on to your hair, not a hairspray for any of us.
Still need a lot, yep.
All right. Well, for our first Coffee Club topic today, Sunday night, people got watching the sky out there. Well, they got a really special treat. The year's first lunar eclipse came with a little extra flair. January's full moon is sometimes dubbed a wolf moon in the folklore tradition because it occurs at a time of year when hungry wolves howled outside villages.
And since the moon is at its closest point to Earth in its orbit, it's a supermoon. And because lunar eclipses are also known as blood moons, Sunday's lunar show has been dubbed the Super Blood Wolf Moon. If you missed it, be sure to mark your next chance for a total lunar eclipse on May 26th, 2021.
All right, not for a little ways out there.
You got to wait a few more years again.
2.5 years, absolutely. Incredible. Did you see it last night?
I didn't, but you can see it's still lighting up our sky cam out there right now.
It's so bright. Look how big and bright that moon. That's our actual sky cam right now.
That's
what it looks like. Incredible. I didn't get to see it turn red. No. I was so disappointed. It was after my bedtime.
Same. I saw some good pictures though. It was perfect viewing for it last night.
Oh, that's wonderful. But
yes.
Yesterday morning, waking up early, so incredibly bright.
Yes, it really is.
I love seeing it.
Me too. So we want to know from you, who saw the lunar eclipse last night? Anyone get any super pictures of it? We'd love to see them.
All right, share those with us. We'd love to be able to see those. So head to our KRBC Facebook page, leave your feedback and your pictures, and you could be featured on our shows.
And stay with us. There's still much more to come ahead on the second half of Abilene Today.
We'll see you back here in about 2 minutes. Stay with us. An organization is hoping to tackle some issues that people in the LGBTQ community are facing right here in the Key City. Plus, we're going back to the roots of Abilene and finding out what makes this town so special with a special report from KRBC's Noah McKinney.
And strong winds move in today. I'll show you the warmer weather coming with it and the roller coaster temperatures this week. The second half hour of Abilene Today starts now.
Your news in your community. This is KRBC's Abilene Today.
Good morning, I'm Joni McKinnon.
And I'm Grant Ostrew. Today is Monday, January 21st.
So here on Abilene Today, we have top stories and weather every 10 minutes coming up during the second half hour now of Abilene Today. It's also Motivate Monday. Master Chip Townsend is already in the studio ready to go this morning. In the meantime, let's talk about our weather headlines. We're ready to go. Although a lot of you guys have the day off, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so a national holiday. And
that's right. It's a good
kind of weather we're going to have for that.
Well, luckily, we're going to see some warmer temperatures. Hope we can get out and enjoy it if you don't get blown away out there.
All right, it may be a windy walk today.
It definitely will be. Let's take a look out there this morning. We're starting out very mild still, 44 here in Abilene, under partly cloudy skies. Those southerly winds have started to become a little bit breezier this morning. Right now, around 15 miles per hour, but they are on the increase as we head into your morning hours. We're in the 30s and 40s across the region. Everybody above freezing, though, this morning. It's 42 out in Snyder, 46 in Sweetwater. The coldest of the air off towards Coleman and Brownwood. It's 37 down there, 36 in Eastland, 43 this morning out in Breckenridge. Those winds are out of the south for many of us across the region, anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles per hour out there. Those wind gusts close to 30 for some of us across the region. In fact, it's 27 mile per hour wind gust up in Stamford, close to 30 up in Throckmorton as well. Those wind gusts, along with those wind speeds, are just going to be increasing now as we head into the late morning and early afternoon hours. In fact, a wind advisory will go into effect for Abilene and points along and north of I-20 starting at 10 a.m. lasting until 6 p.m. this evening. That's when the strongest of those wind gusts should start to die down, but we're still going to be dealing with some pretty breezy conditions into Tuesday. Skies across the region, we're starting to see some clouds push in across West Texas this morning, but otherwise we're going to see mostly sunny skies by this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid 60s and upper 60s across the region. I'll show you what you can expect for your Monday coming up in about 10 minutes. Joni.
All right, thank you, Grant. The time now is 6:28. Let's take a look at our top headlines this morning. Abilene police continuing their investigation after Abilene's first homicide of the year took place this weekend. The deadly shooting happened Saturday night at the MC Sports Bar on the 4000 block of North 1st Street. Police responding to a call from both the bar and another caller reporting that someone had been shot. When police arrived, they found a 27-year-old man with a gunshot wound. He was transported to Hendrick, where he was pronounced dead. Abilene police have not officially released his identity. Then around 1:30 that morning, they received another call of shots fired in the 900 block of North Bowie. 4 people were detained, police confirming that one of those suspects was the alleged shooter from the bar. Now, 20-year-old Eusebio Jose Perez Jr. sits behind bars. He's been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in connection to the shooting. His bond has not yet been set. Other suspects remain detained. As this investigation unfolds, we'll bring you our latest information first through our website and our mobile app, BCH to go. And today is the federal holiday honoring civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
A defining moment of the civil rights movement was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic I Have a Dream speech delivered at the Lincoln Memorial for the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Today, Abilene will honor Dr. King with organizers inviting you to march with them right here. The Royals family in Abilene has organized the annual MLK March for more than 25 years and say if recent trends continue, the march will be even bigger. They'll be meeting near the MLK Jr. Bridge at Cockrell Drive and East Highway 80 at 1 p.m. today. Then the walk will begin at 2 with many singing old hymns to remember Dr. King's life. And an organization is hoping to tackle some issues that people in the LGBTQ community face right here in the city of Abilene. In March of last year, there was controversy at ACU regarding the denial of student employment for its LGBTQ students. Members of the community came together to resist the university's policy, forming the group Abilene Allies, even hosting a prom in April for the members of their community. Our Catherine Garcia continues this coverage.
About 25 people gathered into a small conference room in the Abilene Public Library Saturday afternoon. For privacy reasons, KRBC was asked to blur all faces.
What we're here to talk about today, which is how we can affirm and love and advocate for our middle school and high school students here in Abilene.
All looking to be a resource for LGBTQ persons in the community, says Abilene ally Sam Hatton.
There aren't really any resources that exist in Abilene. That's part of the problem. We're hoping that we can build some of that.
The inception for Abilene Allies sparked when Abilene Christian University instituted a policy denying openly gay students to have on-campus jobs. Troubling, now founder Damon Parker.
I went online and was like, hey, I'd love to be a part of anybody doing anything about this. I never really found much, and so I said, well, I'll just put out there that I'm going to meet. I expected 10, 15 people show up, and 85 people came.
Parker, along with other allies, approached university administration about the policy and later held a prom for LGBTQ college students. A year later, Abilene Allies now looks to resist discriminatory policies and advocate for LGBTQ persons in Abilene.
Every single person, no matter how they identify themselves, no matter who they are sexually attracted to, we want them to feel like this is their home, that Abilene is their place, that they belong, they have a voice, they can be leaders here. We want that for everybody.
Parker says he has confidence in his town.
I'm always proud to say that I know these people. These are my friends, these are my neighbors, these are coworkers. We're not all the same, but what a terrible world it would be if we were.
In Abilene, Catherine Garcia, KRBC, Abilene's local news.